Brother Charles Jenkins. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I think this one of them songs. I'm hoping I don't own the rights to this music. We all know that already. I'm hoping the brother allowed me to use it though. It's one of those songs that you just need to hear. You can hear when you're having any type of doubt. Shout out to MJ. Shout out to my family in Gainesville. My cousin Janice. Gonna just vibe with this for a minute. These are words that we should never forget. My God is awesome. He can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. Yeah, the rain gonna come. It's gonna come though. Heals me when I'm broken. Sometimes we forget it, but we remember again when we look at the news. Look at social media. Look at how much madness is going on, man. Just vibe with it for a minute. Yeah. Check it out. Yeah, it's a lot of madness going on, man. Sometimes it's easy to lose hope. It's easy to fret. It's easy to have doubt. It's easy to lose hope. I myself, I hear it all, man. I hear it all. It's a beautiful song. We got to be reminded sometimes, man, that no matter what we're seeing, these things are designed for us to see. These breakdowns are designed for us to see. Why? Because it makes you doubt. It makes you lose hope. It makes you like if you are a real deal person that believes in God, if you are a real deal person that believes, I don't care what faith it is, but if you're in America and you're under what they call the Christian faith, in God we trust, you're looking around and you're saying, my God, what's going on? If you are a real person just seeking the heart of God, and you're calling yourself a Christian because you are in a Christian nation, you have to be looking around saying, my God, what's going on? How long will this last? Is this something that shall pass? Yes, this too shall pass. And you're having these doubts because you're seeing leaders with these same contradictions, hypocrisies. But I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody, don't lose for your faith. Don't fret. Don't be confused. Be not dismayed. This is what we've read about. This is what we was told about. This is what the old leaders told us about as well. But we've never seen it the way we're seeing it today. My God is awesome. Can move. Oh, my bad. Yeah, it's on my mind today. It's on me heavy. You know, so many people say so many different things, and so many people talk about so many different things. So many people want to leave politics out of spirituality, but yet and still it is politics that is clearly controlling the church. Not every church. Not the church. I'm talking about the church made with hands. I'm talking about the church made with hands. I'm not talking about God. I'm not talking about that true righteous believer, that true righteous woman and man of God with the righteous heart of God, seeking to do the right thing. I'm not talking about you. But to think for 1 second that politics don't play a strong, strong, strong role in what your preacher is willing to stand up there and talk about, and what your preacher is willing to let you have the perception that this is the word of God. This is what God wants now. Oh, this is the new interpretation of that. Politics play a role in that. And so we see that more than ever. We see it more than ever right now. And for that reason, we got to really, 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 really wonder how many more reallys could I say without getting my tongue bit. Really, 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 really be mindful. We got to be mindful of a lot of different things, not just community, not just our neighbor, not just our family, but of the environment, of the voice of God, because it's going to come in different ways. It's not going to always be the same. If God can speak through donkeys and lions and all of these different, and even people who were perceived to be evil, they all had duties and tasks that was carried out by the acknowledgement of God. That's it, man. I just want us to see these things and see them, and as we see them, be able to acknowledge what it is. We got to be able to acknowledge what it is and don't be confused on what it's not. Don't be confused on what it is not, but be able to acknowledge. That's kind of like the serenity prayer. It's kind of like being able to acknowledge certain things, asking God for the strength to give you the vision of these things, let you see them, the wisdom to understand that you may be able to change some things and some things you may not be able to change. The courage to do it if you can, but the wisdom to understand some of it you can't, some of it you can. And when you have that understanding, go and do what you can. Go and change those things that you can. Because there will be some things that you can do. You can fight. We can fight. We can organize. But somehow we've gotten pushed so far, so far from where we actually stood. I just keep contending that the movements, the spiritual community feels like they somehow don't need the strong community. In other words, the revolutionary minded community. They want the poor community. They want to deal with the ghetto mentality. They want to bring them in and let them know everything is your fault. So they want to deal with the poor minded, lost community. And that's understandable. The lost sheep. Because we all are the lost sheep. But it's amazing to me that the gap stops with the revolutionary minded brothers and sisters, with the revolutionary minded community, with the progressive community. That's what a church community feel like. Nope, we'll part ways with them right here. I don't understand that. And the revolutionary minded community actually feels the same toward the church community. And that is because the church community has sold them out so many times, has left them out so many times fighting on their own. The church community failed to recognize and open their eyes and see a lot of different things. And so, or basically, the church community had a different way of organizing, a different way of fighting. And the revolutionary minded community had a different way of organizing and a different way of fighting. And both organizations feel that it was counterproductive. You in the way, no, you're in the way. I don't understand this, man. It's troubling me because right now it's the church community, the spiritual community that doesn't understand you've been pushed so far to the left that now hypocrisy is almost one of the biggest words that stands out in so many different words, ways, and fashions. And a lot of that comes from the lack of education from a revolutionary community, from a grounds, a ground, feet on the ground movement, from a Marcus Garvey type of socialization or mobilization, from a Malcolm X type of mobilization, from a Martin Luther King type of mobilization. But maybe Martin Luther King wasn't a good example because Martin Luther King will be more over with the spiritual community until his last days. With a Omali Yeshitilla type of mobilization. These mobilizations have been isolated to be the only stewards, the Fred Hampton mobilizations, the Fred Hampton Juniors. These type of things, mobilizations and organizations, progressive movements have been isolated, not by every church, but by most of the community churches that looked at them and by pressure from the government, even though some of their leaders understood that they right, they're telling the truth, but they couldn't to keep fundings going and to keep certain things going. They had to actually resist what these progressive movements were speaking about. That's not to be confused with crisis pimps. That's not to be confused with the Roland Martins or the what's this guy name who actually walked with Martin. Uh, he's so slimy that I don't even know this guy name anymore. They call him a reverend, I think. Al Sharpton. It's not to be confused. It's not the same. Thank you, my brother. What's up, Marcus? Cuz, and I'm just saying, man, these organizations need to actually coexist. I mean, actually, they do coexist, but they need to actually work together, not under each other, so to speak, but they need to be informing, working together. And to me, it's really the leaders of the church community, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because the leaders of the church community, if you had any type of revolutionary education, progressive, black progressive uh, organization type of education, if you had any of that training, if you just sat down and studied any of that, even if you didn't go and outrightly supported it, if you had any type of education on that history, on who your enemies were coming from that standpoint, you would know that once you found yourself on the right side, on the same side as George Soros, that you were lost. Now they have it to where the black churches are actually supporting, upholding, talking about in good fashion people like George Soros. And that's because he's lining himself up and buying Democrats left and right. I'm just keeping it real. We are actually supporting people that has been recognized as enemies to the black community forever. And the fact that most of our, I'm talking about a high 90%, probably 95, maybe even 98, 99% of our black community churches are supporting the agendas of the enemy, all in the name of political affiliation. And it is downright sad. Great is your mercy. Thank you, Lord God. Whoa. And so I'm wondering, I'm thinking, I know that this is from a lack of education. The only sad thing about, I mean, the main or the biggest harm is these church people are leaders, no matter how you want to say it. They are adorned, they are uplifted by civilians, people in neighborhoods, people who look to them as leaders. You can't tell me there's thousands of people filling in church houses every Sunday and they don't believe in the leader. They've watched this leader. Some of them watch the leaders go from driving a Pinto to having 2 or 3 Benzes, 2 or 3 homes, 4 or 5 homes. They don't understand it yet. They still don't get it. This is what I've noticed more than anything from my community. I hate to say it. Black people the black ones who earn a bigger amount of money. I'm speaking some of the stars, some of the Steve Harveys, who are most of them who get turned into the billionaires. And let me not be. I'm not harking on Steve. I'm just saying these are the people that stand up before you and let you believe I'm rich because God blessed me. And so they start beating you down and start making you feel like you're not rich because God didn't bless you. And they start making their money. They start using God to feel better. I give this, I do that, all of this non taxable stuff, all of these non profitable stuff, but we know it's a tax write off. I do this, I do that. That's because God has given me this. The more money they get, the more money they are trying to tell you and me, God bless me to be rich. This is why I have all of this money. But what it really does is gives them an excuse. And I'm just saying, we are, no matter how far they are up, no matter where you feel like you are at, when it comes to God, your giving is all the same. There is nobody special. The $1 million gift from a guy with $10 million is no bigger than your dollar gift if you have $10. $10. Understand that. Some of us in this poor community give and we do more for people than millionaires and billionaires do on a percentage basis. And we are looking to leaders and we are upholding them and they are letting us down. In our black communities, they are letting us down. And guess what? It is by design. It is by design. And I'm pleading, not that I have any church members that would actually be listening, definitely not a reverend or a pastor, because I'm actually speaking not against him. I don't see how the church doesn't understand and see that they are exactly where an Omali Yeshitilla asked them to be 30 years ago. and they don't even see it. Where a Marcus Garvey asked them to be, where a Malcolm X was walking through communities asking them to be. Not just church folks. Where the minister Farrakhan still to this day asks us to be. Not so much as Minister Farrakhan asking you to be where you are, and not so much as what all I'm saying is there have been so many black community leaders outrightly asking the people to be ready to more organize and be mobilized to a real true agenda. And what have we done? In most situations, it has been our church and our church leaders, Christian church leaders, who have pushed us in a position to where we are actually being mobilized against the thing that we used to stand against. The very thing that we stood against, now they're mobilizing to do it. What am I talking about? The community, the progressive movements of the community used to scream out things like, and used to fight for a lack of police presence in communities. We don't need this in our communities. They actually bring more harm. And woo, my God, what happened? The church. It was the church. The church that always came out in front of these black progressive movements speaking out for the community. It was the church that went out and said they are evil. Don't listen to them. No, we stand against. And the church also are the same people that told their members, their congregation members, you can't support that. To the point to where their members was even shameful to support it. Now, if you had certain family members who would actually maybe support on the side and maybe, do what they can, and that was grateful and appreciated, because everybody can't go right out and commit class suicide or whatever. And so, and we always say, if you can't come out and support quietly. That was understandable. Some people didn't have the heart to do it, the strength to do it. We understand that. And so, and some of them actually supported. But in most cases, it was the church that actually was the first banner to do the bidding of the government and say, hey, we need black faces to stand out against black faces and call them noisemakers and evil. We need y'all to do our job. Y'all make them look bad. And so it turns out it worked in a lot of instances. But now, what have we here? We have the church down with organizations who say defund the police. And I'm not, hey, look, whatever, man. See, just by me saying defund the police, that'll make some people they're getting their feelings. Because they know what party is pushing that, and so that turns people off automatically, but they will support it, but they don't want to be told about their stinking selves. And so now you have the church willing to support worse ideas than movements from old, but they still won't support another thing. Omali Yeshitilla, so many different other movements, progressive people fought for charter schools. Charter schools. The Democrats, our party leaders, I meant to say our church leaders and our party leaders, they align together. How many churches do you hear fighting for that? How many churches do you hear fighting for that? The blacker our city gets in St. Petersburg, the bluer it seems to turn. They love using this old junk about the gas plant to make blacks feel good and support anything they say and do. But in the end, it'll probably be some more condominiums built right there. It'll probably be more condominiums built right there. But for the next year or two, black people to get their feelings all involved, vote for me, you'll hear about the gas plant district ain't finished. You right. Watch what happened. Watch what happened, and even more, watch how much, or should I say, how little it benefits our community. And I say that in representation of that same gas plant district that they're going to keep throwing in your face. Watch how much what happens there represents that same culture of the gas plant district. And I will tell you right now, I'm no psychic, but I will say zilch, zero, nada. That was pretty cool. And so, yeah, man, these are leaders, and so many people go with the leadership. So many people. So many people go with the leadership. They are leaders of family and they are leaders of young men and women coming up. Leaders point the direction, not real leaders. Real leaders make other leaders. Real chiefs bear other chiefs to lead. There's nothing wrong with Indians either. There's nothing wrong with being a follower of that which is good. So don't let that type of terminology bother you. You're supposed to follow a strong woman or a strong man. You are supposed to follow a good plan. You are supposed to follow successful footsteps. Don't let the word follower make you lose out on something good. But don't let everybody else point out to who your leader is supposed to be either. And right now, I'll tell you one thing, the leaders that we have, as far as from a spiritual standpoint in our black communities, these church leaders are leading a lot of other black regular, people, whatever, families, families and youth. They're leading them in directions that the church would have never, ever went with a long time ago. 10, 20, let me not say 10. I'm going to say 15, 20, 30, 40 years, so forth and so on. Marching for the things that they are marching for, you got pastors and this is crazy. I'm not making this a situation about this guy Khalil, the guy that just got arrested um for this stuff about the college and him, whether he may be a citizen or has full citizen rights or not. I don't. All I know is the people supporting him, not all of the people on the ground. The Democratic leaders that are supporting him going on there. Some of them was the same Democratic leaders. All of these women in pink. That's what I mean. This type of stuff that the church has. These church leaders have you following as Democrats who are families of Democrats, whole congregations of good Democrats. Once you watch the leadership stand up and say, we support more evil than good, why are you still following? This stuff is being blasted on TV every day. What gives you what are you looking at? These are the same people that won't even stand up and support women who are being unalived, girls who are being unalived in sexual manners and ways, take life taken, innocence taken, and they're being spoke about on grand stages. And you have people so committed to a party that they say in unison, we will not stand up or support you. And you have people that still say, we are men and women of God. And that's why I'm trying to make it plain and simple for some of us who are just out here trying to live, just out here trying to understand what we're seeing and digesting. Don't you don't have to stay married to a party. I will have you might not want to admit it, and you may have been seeing it with your own eyes, and it hurts you to admit it, and it hurts you to your core to actually acknowledge it, but I will say it, and it hurts me to say it. There are so many more people that are more committed to a party line of Democrats right now than they are of not just spirituality and religion, but also their families. Now that's a daring thing to say. That's to actually hurt. That's not cool. That's not a easy thing to say, but it's so evident. It is so evident. Yeah, but I can't vote for him. Yeah, no, I don't support that. I hate that. No, they can't touch my daughter. They can't touch my son. No, I ain't down with that. No, no, no. Oh no, yes, we need peace. I ain't down with all of these immigrants too. Shoot, my sister on food stamps. Oh, I got three brothers with food stamps. Oh, I just hate the way the prison system going. Why is it getting so crowded in America? Why are they treat non-citizens better than citizens? I hear all that, but I just can't vote for him. I just can't vote for him. So I'm willing to withstand everything that I stand against. I'm willing to withstand everything that hurts America. I'm willing to withstand everything that could hurt my daughter. I'm willing to withstand everything that could hurt my son. I'm willing to withstand everything that could possibly make sure my son never has any sons or daughters. I'm willing to withstand the lack of education that I see for my granddaughters and my grandsons and my great granddaughters and my great. I'm willing to withstand all of that just to say F that MFer Donald Trump. You have put politics over everything. As a matter of fact, it's not the Democrat Party. They have beat into you in an MK Ultra fashion that Donald Trump is your enemy. And this man just got into politics. Slap yourself. Please wake up. Please. We got to get back to it. I'm looking at all these people who crying about all of these people who are being fired and laid off. I just think I'm so real that it's so easy for me to just sit down and think to myself, can that happen to me? Hell yes. With no explanation at all. They call it a right to work state in Florida. Your ass can be fired. Probationary? You don't need no excuse. And I think that goes across all the states. Probationary employee? Bye bye. I'm listening to all of this and I'm listening to all of these people cry for federal workers as if they are any different from the hard-working blue-collar man and woman at home. What the hell is the difference? This is what I understand from a federal standpoint. Having worked in the federal government at the VA, they should not be protected in that manner. These are the same type of people who are abusing these systems. Not everybody. I do feel for some people, and I know everybody shouldn't be fired, and some of that hopefully is fixed. But there are rotten people in there. I know this for a fact because I ran into them. These are the same people that are getting away with abusing some of those veterans that are laying in those beds. These are the same people that are getting away with all kind of what they call it neglect, neglect and abuse on veterans that served, that sacrificed, and now depend on their help. I've been there, and I know that it is the federal workers, the leaders especially. They can almost tell you to kiss their tail. I'm talking about open their tail up for you and open their cheeks up for you and give you the middle finger and tell you to kiss their rump. You could catch them in the act. Donald Trump passed the law in 2016 to stop this. That is why the federal government feels like they are bigger than we, the people. So it bothers me not. It does not bother me when I see some of the people that has to be released because I know I hate that a lot has to be released just to get a few bad ones. And to tell the truth, some of the bad ones still probably will be remaining. That's the saddest thing about it. And I'm gonna say this. I want to keep my peace. Thank you, Lord God. But I want to say it in a real. I want to say it and without actually being angry. I actually did my best to sue that same VA, that federal government. And so a lot of people get mad at me just because I tell the truth. And it's unfortunate that the truth sucks right now if you're a Democrat. But while I was working in that federal government, while I was working in the VA, I raised issues to almost every Republican that I could think of, especially if they had served. I'm going to say that again. I reached out to all of the servers, all of the people who had served in the armed forces, veterans, Democrats and Republicans, but in particular Republicans, because I actually acknowledged while I reached out to them, I said, Donald Trump wrote a bill for you to help me, for you to help these veterans. Nikki Fried, the Anna Paulina Luna, Byron Donalds, obviously Ron DeSantis, Ashley Moody, all of these people, and it actually bothers me and saddens me to see that most of them are being elevated in different positions, but not one. Actually, let me change that. I want to say that. I want to change that. Also, the Senate Council of Florida, one politician responded to help me fight against that VA system, and that was Anna Paulina Luna. Now, I want to say, after saying that was the only one that responded, she responded almost just to respond. And actually, Anna Paulina Luna, you have better power now. So if you're listening, you still have an opportunity to fight. You have all of my paperwork. You have an opportunity to stand up on something that you laid down on, that you acted as if you would give interest to. Now, as it stands, I was fired for being a whistleblower, Miss Anna Paulina Luna. I submitted videos of raw food being served to our veterans. I knew what was wrong. I knew that we should not have been in a molded kitchen. I knew that we should not have been in a kitchen with no sink, no hot water, none of that. None of this was sufficient. And in the end, the guy that cared the most was the one fired. The federal people who was approving it and putting their elbow on other people's head was the ones pushed out. So don't tell me nothing about the federal government and about how people shouldn't be losing their job. The federal government got plenty of slime, and the worst thing about it is they have laws and walls to protect them. They have walls to protect them. Anna Paulina Luna, you know you have my paperwork, special counsel. You still have an opportunity to do so, so I'm calling you out. I'm saying it out loud. You're a Republican. You have a little bit more power now. Act. Because not only were they feeding raw food to the veterans, they didn't have hot water. They didn't have sufficient stoves or anything. They couldn't bring their food to temp. It's the worst situation you could ever see. And somebody like me, I'm a fighter, so I don't mind. I don't mind admitting I was fired. But in the way it happened, you sit back and you say to yourself, damn. Because, see, I'm that same type of warrior no matter where I go. But I learned something different with the federal government. It's different. No, we won't give you acknowledgement for bringing forth something so bad. Yeah, I've been on several different jobs to where I'm able to recognize discrimination, and I fought for others. No, brother, come here. Sister, come here. Let me show you how you have a case against your employer, and let me help you do that. That is me. But I understood something different when I ran into the federal government. They have federal laws and federal walls that gives you the middle finger right to your face. So it's the federal government. So I don't understand a lot of this what's going on. But when somebody say it needs to be cleaned up and some people need to go and some people acting like it's unfortunate because the wrong people gonna get kicked out. And that's the worst part about it. But it is the heads of a lot of those uh, places that actually need to go. Anna Paulina Luna, whatever her, if I might be Anna Luna Paulina, Anna Paulina Luna. Yeah. Oh yeah. I wrote them all. Submitted all type of videos. Submitted all type of photos. So you're a whistleblower. Only, to me, it turned black and white as well. Why am I not? Why was I not protected? Why was I not protected? So you know, so I learned two things at that time. A black whistleblower is a little bit different from a white whistleblower. I definitely was thinking of Aaron Brockovich and how that all happened. And I thought it was pretty serious, to be honest. I'm thinking about that too much, but yeah, man, I was like, I was fighting with that, saying to myself, man, I could be the reason why one of these people drop at any time, and I wasn't with it. I wasn't with it at all. You work at the VA, you start getting close to veterans, you start getting close to the people. They're coming in, they still saluting. And when it don't even matter if it wasn't the VA. That's not me. I'm not gonna do that. I don't care where I am. And so you don't feed a dog raw meat. And so here it is, these people asking you to feed raw meat and telling you they don't know the difference. Man, lady, dude, those are the evil people. And those are the people that still had a job. Those are the people that can come to work and treat other people like doodle and understand that the federal rules and laws of the government will protect them over the people they should be protecting. And so I don't really care when I see what's happening. It's just really unfortunate. And all you can do is you can kind of hope that some of the right people get misplaced. I mean, get fired. And more than anything, now that they have more power, you hope some of the people who laid down would actually respond to something that they should have responded to. And as far as any of those other guys, you got this guy Byron Donald talking about running for governor. You can't even get a response from him. So I was disappointed all around the board. But in the end, that's what we're dealing with. No matter what you're dealing with when it comes to Republicans or Democrats, they're only gonna do what you actually make them do. But as far as leadership and leading you down a road to say in a spiritual manner, these things are good, these things are good, these things are good, these things are good. Family first. The Democrats, they on a whole nother plantation. And they want to keep you on it with them. You can look at some of the Republicans and say, I see that I see the R word in this guy. I see this. What I'm saying is the Republicans are as far as a billboard, their billboard message does include God. Now you could take an individual and try to say, "Oh, no, not this guy." I'm talking about the billboard message that they actually put forth out into the world. The message, the messaging, the messaging. That is the most important thing. Don't kill the messenger. The Republicans put forth family, God, capitalism, which is good. Get your money. Family. You're raising your kids, nuclear family, in a certain way. Your son is your son, your daughter is your daughter. When they turn of a certain age, they do what they want to do. Don't force it on the kids, just like you don't force beer and alcohol and drugs on them when they're in school either. Don't even allow it. That's their banner. They stand on that. The Democrats stand on something totally different, and that is no place for leadership amongst black people. because we follow almost, it seems like we follow almost anything. They are rewriting the Bible, and black people who used to stand on a good strong word, they just like, huh? The Democrats say go. And how it really goes is the Democrats say go, get pastors, Pastor Jamal Bryant, pastors, we need then the pastors take it to the church and the communities. This is what we do. And boom, there it is. There it is. We can't be that way. I want my strong brothers and sisters who been looking with one eyebrow up saying this look fishy. Questioning. You're not questioning God when you question that jive turkey up there standing in front of you asking for donations while he tell you to defile your child. Defile your the ideal to not let your child become a man or tell them God made a mistake. That's the biggest thing about it. You got jive pastors who are basically saying God made a mistake. Those are the pastors you got to turn your back on. Turn your back on. Don't be afraid to be a part of the small church. Don't be afraid to be a part of the small church. Don't be afraid of the pastor that's standing against the nonsense. That's who you need to be with. He's not selling himself or herself out just to stay on the end for 1,000 likes. That's all. That's it. That's all. Solo, single, no more, no less. A little KRS for you. My God is awesome. He can move mountains. I love that song. When you start feeling a little doubt, I'm gonna play it again. They might, since they don't, they might not. Sometimes we just like feel that little piece of doubt, and we start asking questions and this and that and this and that because we're human. We're human. I love this song because it don't allow certain things and names to get in the way. Like sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. And so that's why I love this song. Yeah, man. When you're asking questions, where is God? How is God? How you gonna get out of this? How you gonna get out of that? Just remember these words, man. Just remember this song. Just hum it to yourself. You ain't even gotta be able to sing. You ain't even gotta be able to sing. Hey. Our God is awesome. He can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. Come on, our God is awesome. He heals me when I'm broken. You ever need that healing, man? All healing ain't medical healing, you know? Come on, say my God is awesome. My God is awesome. He can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. It's a beautiful Friday morning. They say TGIF. I thank God for every day. It does help that it's Friday. Right? Amen. Don't say this to yourself. Say that to them. Look at your kid and say, Look at your mama. It's just one of them songs that just reminds you. It just reminds you. And it don't give you no hurdles. See, some of us got a hurdle when it comes to God. We don't want to hear the word Jesus. Some don't want to hear Muhammad. This song just kind of says, God, no matter what your ideal of God is, guess what? Here you go. My God is awesome. That's what it do. Somebody ought to praise his holy name. awesome, awesome. My God is awesome, awesome. Got to get ready to drive to a funeral, wake myself. Just pray for the strength of my family. My cousin, he's mighty. Awesome, my God. Sometimes I think I beat her. I'm telling you. Instead of selling, instead of thinking I was a street pharmacist and sticking guns in people's faces, I wish I could have been a choir conductor. I just love it. I love the feel of music. Music speaks. Awesome. That music speaks, man. When you have doubts, when you can't understand the print in the Bible and the words ain't making sense, turn on some music. Let the words speak to you in music and chorus and choir, and the Spirit will do the rest. Trust me, the Spirit will do the rest. And if you allow, the Spirit will do the rest in any occasion, anytime, any situation. Yeah. Finna get out of here, man. God is awesome. 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 He can move mountains. You in the valley. Hide me from the rain. My God is awesome. Yo, no matter what you do today, man, you have a blessed day. And like I say, if we are mindful, and it ain't like I'm saying this in a way of saying like we got on some type of suit and tie and we claiming we the pastors and this and that. Leadership comes in so many different forms and fashions, man. If we just listen, you'll hear God's voice in so many different ways. Sometimes you end up saying, "Man, I don't know why, but I helped this person today. I normally don't do stuff like that, but I did this and that today. Or I gave a word to somebody today. Normally, I ain't a good speaker. You end up doing things that you don't normally do, and you'll keep going down the line, and then you'll start realizing, you know what? That's God. That's the voice of God. I allowed myself to listen, and I morsel to eat, a thought, a blessing, and they'll know. They'll know because you're a stranger. So when you walk away or ride away, whatever you do, they will know. How did that stranger know? Thank you, God. Give somebody a reason to say thank you, Lord, today. I'm out of here, man. God is awesome. One more. Awesome. My God is $120. I've been doing some fundraising. I'll talk to my brother. I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm gonna talk to my brother, man. Ajamu. My brother is doing great things. Speaking to him in Africa. Lord, thank you. Speaking also to my brother John in Haiti. Y'all better we better understand. Some people have done fundraising with me before, and I appreciate it. And those people who know who they are. Y'all done good work, and you done it in the name of God, done it for a good cause, and that's appreciative. I just saw a message from him. Things are bad all over the world. If you think it's tough here, you're in America. You think you going through some stuff. Imagine what is going on in other places that has, I mean, 100 times less than the resources. Even for countries that America has pushed out and said, we want to give you aid, but you must take this stuff. And this stuff is always bad. You know, some African countries and some other countries who have a different respect and love for family and God and this and that culture, they have denied American aid because they didn't want to put certain things in their culture and agenda. We have to be mindful that a lot of places don't have more than because they was cut from by Doge. These are people, man, that we can help. A few US dollars can go a long way in other countries. So if you want to know how you can do that, my brother in Africa, he's a chief now. He started his organizing ground and roots over here. So when you take some American, and that's what I mean. That's what I mean by people. If people get out their own way, his brother took street level organization roots, organization hustles, mentality, the history of organizing in America, and took it to Africa, and now he's a boss. Now he's actually building. I'm talking about building. Him and his queen. I think I'm safe to say that. The spiritual community cannot look at the progressive community as outcasts. The progressive community, although they have a lot more reason and proof to stand on, as these are sellouts and somewhat are, and there is still a bit of fighting and organizing that can be done together. And I think that message goes out more to the community of people that has been controlled by the government, and that would be the spiritual community or the religious community. Because the progressive community has open arms to almost anybody. You know, in the progressive community that I was around, the movement, the Socialist Party, the African People's Socialist Party, they were not because they recognized it as they is, and Omali Yeshitela was the type of leader that called out Chicken Bone Reverend right just like that. Reverend Chicken Bone, that's what he called him. And so, yes, he had a few people out of the spiritual community who respected him on his work ethic and his progress and his building. And so there were a few people who would actually say, hey, I support this man. But for the most part, they would not have to, but they side with the government, they side with deals, and they side with we need grants and this to build this. And so they sided with the government and they did what they were told. We are actually fighting against each other, and we got to find a way to actually find where we can. You know, it's amazing that a lot of the Donald Trump cabinet hated Donald Trump. You know, the Democrats keep saying, well, he only won because of Joe Rogan, or he only won because of Elon Musk. He only won because of Tulsi. He only won because of this and that. And all of those people used to be Democrats. But the Democrats went too far, and all of them said, woo, wait a minute. Why am I saying that? Because even RFK Jr., at some point, they were able to say, all right, I know you don't like me. I know you don't like me. You talk so much noise about me, you dog me out. Well, you talk noise about me in response and dog me out. Where do we agree on moving this forward? What does that mean? Party members, community members, progressive members. They've all, like I said, they've always been arms wide open. Church community, stop being controlled by the enemy and come and find out where can we all agree and move forward in this manner. On this thing we can agree on. We got a lot of disagreements, but on this right here, Oh, this too. Oh, and on this right here. Oh, this too. Oh, this right here. If you do that, you start finding out you got more in common than you do against each other. Then you find out, man, we've been fighting against each other for so long. And the numbers that you had over there, the numbers that we had over here, we could have been big. Instead of resisting and being a tool of the government, fighting against the one or two organizations that's trying to make a way, that's trying to point out some different solutions. Because that's what we need in the end. We can have all the good music, songs, all the good preaching, all the good teaching, or all the good organizing. If you don't have solutions, it's a done deal. It's as they say, useless. I'm out of here. God is awesome. Peace.